The Sun Princess was supposed to be a game changer for princess cruises. Bigger, bolder, and packed with new experiences. But once you step on board, reality hits fast. The ship is overcrowded, venues feel too small, and getting food, drinks, or even a seat at a show is a constant battle. Lines are everywhere. Waiting for dinner took over an hour some evenings, and grabbing a quick coffee often felt impossible. Even the quick service spots on the Lido deck have backups that never seem to end. From canceled reservations to entertainment venues that simply don't work, it feels like this ship is constantly fighting against you. Sun Princess tried to be everything, but in doing so, it got the basics all wrong. So what happened? And more importantly, is this a ship worth booking? Let's break it all down. Hey y'all, I'm Evan with Family at Sea, where we help make every cruise unforgettable. We've sailed on a lot of cruise ships, but Sun Princess, this one is something else. It's Princess Cruises' most ambitious ship ever. A bold new design, bigger entertainment, and a fresh take on what a princess cruise can be. But for everything it gets right, this ship has some serious problems. And by the end of this video, I'm going to answer 3 questions every cruiser needs to know before stepping foot on board. Does Sun Princess actually deliver the premium experience Princess is known for? Can a ship this big still feel relaxing, or is it too much for its own good? And most importantly, 3, did Princess make a game-changing ship or a frustrating mess? This is my full review on the Sun Princess. What impressed us, what went wrong, and the huge issue you need to know before booking. If you're ready, I am. Let's go. Before I continue, if you're thinking about booking a cruise, whether it's on the Sun Princess or any other ship, my friends at Cruises It can help you get the best possible deal. They have access to exclusive rates, industry best perks, and discounts you simply won't find anywhere else. Plus, their cruise fare watch system tracks price drops until final payment, so you never overpay. To book your dream cruise at the guaranteed best price, click the link in the description below to get started. And if you love cruising and want to make sure you always get the best experience, hit that like button and subscribe. It helps make sure you get more tips, honest reviews, and cruise insights that help you plan the perfect trip. I've got some really great content I'll be sharing soon, and you guys are not going to want to miss it. The Sun Princess was supposed to be a turning point for Princess Cruises, their biggest, most modern, and most ambitious ship ever built. This wasn't just an upgrade, it was the start of a whole new class of ships designed to bring more space, more entertainment, and a fresh take on the premium cruise experience. Princess promised a ship that felt open and elegant, with an expanded, livelier Piazza, designed to be the true heart of the action. The Dome, a massive glass-covered entertainment venue, was billed as a revolutionary space for aerial performances and flexible indoor-outdoor experiences. It was meant to be a game-changer. The Sun Princess was also supposed to redefine dining at sea, offering more specialty restaurants than any princess ship ever built. The lineup included new concepts from world-class chefs, a reimagined steakhouse experience, and the Catch by Rudy, which aimed to deliver the most upscale seafood dining in the fleet. Combined with the Princess Premier package, including unlimited specialty dining, this was positioned as one of the most impressive culinary offerings at sea. Beyond dining, Princess set out to elevate the entire onboard experience. The Sun Princess was marketed as a ship where guests could enjoy more space, less congestion, and easier access to entertainment, dining, and relaxation. More open decks and expanded pool areas were supposed to make the ship feel less crowded, while a redesigned casino and theater promised a more premium experience for everyone on board. Even the medallion class system was meant to bring next-level convenience, allowing guests to order food or drinks from anywhere on board, unlock their rooms hands-free, and navigate the ship effortlessly. It all sounded incredible. But stepping on board tells a different story. Because while the Sun Princess tried to do everything, that's exactly where the problems began. For all the issues with the Sun Princess, there are some areas where the ship truly shines. The Piazza is one of the most stunning and energetic spaces at sea. It's the heart of the ship, and when it's not overcrowded, it delivers everything Princess promised. A vibrant hall full of live music, entertainment, and incredible food and drink options. Sitting here with a cappuccino from the International Cafe while a string trio plays in the background feels like being in a grand European plaza. Someone I struck up a conversation with compared it to a high-end hotel lobby that's always alive with energy, and that's exactly what it feels like when the space is at its best. The Princess Arena is the most advanced theater Princess has ever built. With a fully flexible stage setup, this venue can transform between different layouts to create a more immersive experience. The in-house productions take full advantage of the space, and when the shows are at their best, it feels like the kind of entertainment you'd expect from a much bigger cruise line. Umai teppanyaki stood out as one of the best experiences of the week. The chefs brought great energy to the experience, the food was solid, and it's included with Princess Premier, making it a fantastic value. At the aft of the ship, Love by Brito provided beautifully plated dishes with stunning panoramic ocean views, creating a dining experience that felt exclusive and intimate, even if it comes at a premium. But nothing tops Spellbound. The food was just okay, but that's not why you go to Spellbound. The hidden speakeasy style bar, incredible cocktails, and immersive magic performances made this one of the most unique and unforgettable experiences we've ever had at sea. For everything the Sun Princess does right, the experience though is still overshadowed by issues that make it feel far more frustrating than it should be. And once you start noticing them, they're impossible to ignore. For everything the Sun Princess does right, the reality of sailing on this ship is far more frustrating than it should be. And once you start noticing the problems, they become impossible to ignore. And the issues begin before you even step on board. Princess doesn't use assigned check-in time, so when we arrived at Terminal 2 at Port Everglades, the line wrapped around the entire building. And inside, the terminal felt industrial and chaotic, not exactly the premium experience you'd expect from Princess Cruises. And if that wasn't enough, as we were walking up the gangway to board, alarms suddenly started blaring and we were stopped in our tracks. We stood there for several minutes with the alarms going off, with even the crew being completely unsure what was happening, before they finally turned us around and redirected us up to a different gangway. It was a chaotic beginning that unfortunately set the tone for what was to come. Once on board, the biggest issue became immediately apparent. This is easily the most crowded cruise ship we have ever sailed on. We've been on some massive ships, including the Icon of the Seas with over 7,600 passengers. But somehow the Sun Princess, with just 4,000 guests, felt significantly more crowded. Wait, Evan, you're telling me a ship with nearly 8,000 passengers on board somehow felt less crowded than one with 4,000? Make that make sense. I know, it sounds crazy, but it's true. The Sun Princess simply wasn't designed with enough public space for the number of passengers it carries. Every venue feels undersized, every line extends too long, and every public area becomes packed during peak times. It's as though they designed a beautiful ship, then decided to maximize capacity without expanding the common areas. The medallion technology is another disappointment. In theory, it's brilliant. A wearable device that unlocks your door, lets you order food and drinks from anywhere, and helps you locate family members on board. But the reality falls far short of that promise. During our 7-day cruise, we placed 8 different orders through the medallion app, and only 1 actually arrived. The rest completely disappeared. When we asked about it, crew members admitted they simply did not have enough staff to fulfill all the orders coming in, so most they never even attempted. It's a perfect example of Princess overpromising and under-delivering. The casino situation was another area of frustration. If you enjoy gambling on cruises, prepare yourself. This was the most packed casino we have ever seen at sea. But the crowds weren't even the worst part. Despite having a designated non-smoking section, cigarette smoke filled the entire space. Even worse, that smoke didn't stay contained in the casino. It drifted straight into the Piazza, the heart of the ship. Even if you were just trying to enjoy a coffee or listen to music in what should be the most beautiful space on board, you were doing it while breathing in secondhand smoke. Not exactly the premium experience Princess advertises. The crew were clearly doing everything they could, but you could see it in their faces. They were stressed, overworked, and running ragged. Many were apologizing to guests for things beyond their control. They were trying their best, but the ship's design and staffing levels made it an uphill battle they simply couldn't win. Remember that Princess Premier package I mentioned earlier? The one that includes unlimited specialty dining? Well, It turns out it was too good of a deal. So many people purchased it that the specialty restaurants were completely overwhelmed, and making reservations anywhere was a serious challenge. Our reservation at Crown Grill, which is their steakhouse, was canceled 3 separate times, all without notice, and we only found out when we checked the app and saw that it had disappeared from our schedule. After the 3rd cancellation on the final night of the cruise, they sent us instead to Love by Brito, which fortunately ended up being a great meal. But that wasn't an isolated incident. Alfredo's, the popular pizza restaurant on Princess ships, had wait times exceeding an hour every single time we tried to eat there. For a ship of this size, the dining venues simply weren't large enough or staffed sufficiently to handle the passenger load. The Dome, which was supposed to be a highlight venue offering Cirque-style performances, had shows canceled for our entire cruise due to an accident the previous week. But even when it does operate, its 250-seat capacity is nowhere near enough for a ship with over 4,000 passengers. Complaints are frequent online about people having to line up more than an hour before shows just to get a seat. So, Evan, why are they designing cruise ships with venues that can't even fit the people who want to see the shows? That's a valid question, and one that Princess should have asked before finalizing these plans. Navigation around the ship was another constant frustration. Someone we met on board aptly nicknamed it the "you can't get there from here" ship. And they weren't wrong. With dead ends, awkward layouts, and areas where you had to go upstairs just to go back down again, it felt like a maze. Poor signage only made things worse, and it was easy to see why so many passengers called it one of the most confusing ships they have ever sailed on. And nowhere was this problem more evident than the Lido deck, which should have been a relaxing retreat, became a scene of pure chaos. The pools and hot tubs were perpetually packed to capacity, with guests hovering nearby waiting for anyone to leave so that they could claim a spot. Finding a lounge chair? Good luck. That became a competitive sport. And if you thought you'd just grab a quick bite up on the Lido deck instead of one of the various venues, think again. These casual dining options had lines stretching so far that a quick lunch turned into a 30-plus minute ordeal just to get served. We watched guests abandon their place in line out of sheer frustration, opting to go hungry rather than continue waiting. It was the opposite of the premium, relaxed experience Princess promises. But the most telling part of it all? Many loyal Princess cruisers that we met on board urged us not to judge the brand based on this one ship, saying this was not representative of the typical Princess experience. And honestly, we believe them. This doesn't feel like the premium cruise line Princess has built its reputation on. It feels like a beautiful ship that's simply trying to do way too much with too many people and not enough space or staff to make it work. After a week on the Sun Princess, one thing became crystal clear. This ship suffers from an identity crisis. Princess Cruises has always positioned itself as a premium experience. Not quite luxury, but definitely a step above the mainstream cruise lines. And the Sun Princess was meant to elevate that experience even further. But instead, it's created something that doesn't quite work. The fundamental issue is that Princess tried to be everything to everyone with this ship. They wanted the grand spaces and the wow factor of Royal Caribbean, the culinary excellence of celebrity, and the premium touches that Princess loyalists expect, all while maintaining their signature relaxed atmosphere. But in trying to do it all, they ended up with a ship that doesn't excel at anything. The venues are beautiful but too small. The technology is innovative but unreliable. The dining options are impressive but overwhelmed. And the entertainment is ambitious but inaccessible to most guests. It's like they designed a ship for 3,000 passengers and then decided to try to squeeze in more than 4,000. Or they created amazing venues without considering how many people would actually want to use them. The result is a constant feeling of congestion and frustration that undermines what should be a premium experience. And what makes this especially disappointing is that you can see the potential. There are moments when the Sun Princess truly shines. When you catch the Piazza during a quiet period, or when you luck into a specialty dining reservation that doesn't get canceled, or when you find that perfect spot to watch the sunset without fighting through crowds. These moments remind you of what this ship could have been. but they're too few and far between to justify the premium price tag Princess is charging. The most telling feedback came from Princess loyalists themselves. We met couples on board who had sailed Princess 20, 30, and even 40 times, who told us this was their worst Princess cruise ever. When your most dedicated customers are saying that, you know something has gone seriously wrong. So what's the verdict? The Sun Princess isn't a bad ship. It's a good ship that's trying too hard to be great. And in that effort, it's lost sight of the basics that make a cruise enjoyable. Space to relax, efficient service, and an atmosphere that feels premium rather than chaotic. Princess built a ship with all the right ingredients but mixed them in all the wrong proportions. And until they find a way to balance the passenger count with the available space and service capabilities, the Sun Princess will remain a beautiful disappointment. So after everything I've shared, I can already hear you asking, okay, Evan, so is the Sun Princess actually right for anyone? The answer to that is yes, but with some important caveats. First, this ship could work well for travelers who prioritize new ships and modern design over everything else. If you're the type who loves being on the newest, most talked about vessels and can tolerate crowds and occasional service hiccups, you might enjoy the Sun Princess. This ship is undeniably beautiful, with Instagram-worthy spaces and contemporary styling throughout. If you're somebody who can cruise during non-peak times, the ship also has a lot of potential. Sailing during shoulder seasons or less popular weeks could mean fewer passengers, shorter lines, and a much more enjoyable experience overall. The fundamental design issues would still exist, but with fewer people on board, they'd be far less noticeable. It might also to appeal to cruisers who are very self-sufficient and don't rely heavily on crew assistance. If you're comfortable navigating a confusing layout, don't mind waiting in lines, and have the patience to deal with technology that doesn't always work, you can still have a good time, especially if you're good at finding quiet corners and avoiding peak times at popular venues. The Sun Princess may also be a fit for travelers who spend most of their time in port rather than on the ship. If you view the ship primarily as transportation between amazing destinations and plan to be off exploring during most port days, the onboard crowding will affect you less. Princess Premier Package fans may also find value here despite the reservation challenges. If you're strategic about booking specialty dining well in advance and flexible enough to adjust when things don't go as planned, you can still get good value from the package. However, I would not recommend the Sun Princess for a number of people, including first-time cruisers who might form a negative impression of cruising based on the overcrowding, Princess loyalists expecting the traditional Princess experience, travelers seeking a truly relaxing premium vacation, families with young children as the kids clubs were constantly at capacity, anyone sensitive to cigarette smoke given how it permeates the central areas, and cruisers who value efficient service and minimal waiting. The bottom line though, the Sun Princess isn't a terrible ship, it's simply not living up to its potential or the Princess brand promise. If you go in with realistic expectations and a flexible attitude, you can still have an enjoyable cruise. But for the premium price point, there are simply better options available that deliver a much more consistent experience. If you're a diehard Princess fan, I'd recommend waiting a year or so until they've had time to work out the kinks, and I'm hoping that perhaps they can fix some of the key issues on the new Star Princess to make it a better representation of this new Sphere class of ships. But if you're new to cruising or looking for a truly premium experience, you might want to look elsewhere for now. So after spending a week on the Sun Princess, one thing is clear. This ship is designed to impress, but built to frustrate. It has flashes of brilliance, moments where you see the potential of what it could have been, but those moments are constantly interrupted by design decisions that make the entire experience feel harder than it should be. Princess set out to innovate, but somewhere along the way they forgot the foundation: simplicity, comfort, and a sense of ease that lets you actually enjoy your vacation. But Evan, I already booked the Sun Princess. What am I supposed to do now? I hear you, and don't worry, all is not lost. The bad news, if you've already booked the Sun Princess, you might be worried about how to make the most of your cruise after hearing these challenges. The good news, I've got you covered. In this next video, I'll reveal 21 cruise secrets the cruise lines simply don't want you to know. These insider tips can help you navigate even the most challenging ships, including the Sun Princess, like a pro. From finding the best times to visit popular venues, to scoring reservations that don't get canceled, you'll learn exactly how to maximize your experience no matter which ship you're on. Click it now and I'll show you how to turn even a frustrating ship into a memorable vacation. And guys, as always, thank you for watching, and until next time, may your seas be smooth and your horizons wide. Bon voyage!